We're already live on Instagram.
All right, all right.
Basically, had the same things.
All right, all right, all right. We live, we live, we live, y'all.
Hey,
So,
hey.
hello,
Hope
everyone.
all is well.
What's up? What's up?
Jerome, go ahead and do your little computer thing that you normally do.
All right. Um, First of all, I want to thank everybody for being on. Uh, thank our guests. Thank our YouTube family. Thank our Facebook family. We're trying something a little new tonight. We're gonna simulcast on Instagram. Uh, so I hope all is well. As always, everything that we say, everything that we discuss is strictly our opinions based on the facts as we know them. Please do not believe anything that we tell you. Take the information, research it yourself. Come back. Let's discuss it. Let's build, and let's go forward. Um, what's up, B?
Yo, what's going on, yo? Brother Brian, aka that, silverback, the majestic. We're gonna talk about some stuff today. We're just gonna just give y'all our opinions, our thoughts on how everything went down, and do we approve what happened, or if we disapprove, or because there's a lot of stuff that has happened, since then. And a lot of things have been said, and I'm a lot of people upset about this. And I actually, I texted Willa because I went straight to that fake news show that a lot of people be tuning into. I don't want to say stuff because people like that get upset and they be trying to call us out. But that is that the other animal like the fox. You know, you know is they destroy it. They really tried to get into that one so bad that it was crazy listening to some of the stuff they were saying. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's talk. Willa, what's going on, Mister Willa?
Ain't too much, man. What you want to know about it, man?
Introduce yourself, man. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, you say get into it, man. I thought we was getting into it. Hey, I'm here, man. Anthony Wheeler, I'm here. Let's get into it.
All right, all right. What's up, Tracy? Talk to me, Tracy. How you
What's
feeling?
going on? I am feeling great. Hey, everybody out there in Instagram and Facebook land. Again, this is Tracy. What's up, y'all? Good to be here once again with y'all. Let's talk about it. Thank you for
All
having me
right.
back.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Willa start it off because I feel like that fire coming. I feel that fire coming. Willa, how you feel about this whole trial? Did you? I mean, because I don't know if you watched it or I couldn't
Watch.
watch it because it was
I didn't watch it.
relapsing
I didn't watch
stuff
not
over
one.
and over and over. So I wanted to see how you feel about that.
I didn't watch 1 minute of it. I knew it was gonna be a mockery of it. You know what I'm saying? I knew what they're gonna try to do. I just wait for the outcome. And I didn't have my hopes up. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was gonna be business as usual. So I didn't watch not one thing of. I didn't even watch the news during that whole time. I didn't hear anybody's thoughts, opinion really on that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just I couldn't do it again, man. My emotion won't allow me to do it again. I had to keep my mind sane, man. I just could not put myself through that situation. I just couldn't do it, man. I trust the situation, and I wasn't gonna put my mental through that. So I kept away from it. You know what I'm saying? And um, I wasn't optimistic about the outcome of it. It surprised the shit out of me. For all three charges, surprised the living shit out of me. And I guess the situation is that because of that type of video that was shown, man, and what took place in that video, something had to be done because I think otherwise America probably in a different place right now. America be in a different place right now because I don't think people was really gonna let this shit slide this time. It was everybody something different. So you know what? I know Fox News said something about Tucker Carlson pretty much said something about you know the jury was scared or whatever of the out about what may take after the fact when it comes to trial if it go the way it did go, and it could be some truth to that because if that thing did not turn the way it did turn out, our conversation would be totally different. Because I think America would have been
The audio
because
is. Can you all hear okay? Mine is kind of coming in and out.
Yeah, you are
So
kind
I'm
of
hearing every
chopping up
other
there.
word or so.
I like how Willa. I mean, but it's if I am surprised too, Willa. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Guilty of all three charges, but I can't. I'm happy, but I'm not happy because we're celebrating. And the reason why I'm saying it is because we shouldn't have to be celebrating on something like this. We should automatically know justice supposed to have been served. And I mean, that's the aspects that I'm saying, and that's the way I'm looking at it. Like we all happy, kind of like what we did with the OJ verdict.
right, right.
Everybody was happy, which I didn't give two shits about that. But I mean,
Yeah.
or so we sitting around waiting to hear what the jury had to say. But let's talk to Tracy. Tracy, I want to hear you. I want to hear what you got to say about it, Tracy.
Um, as far as watching the trial, I did not watch the trial. I did, however, watch the verdict live. So when they were about to announce it, that's when I turned to CNN and watched it. Um, I was nervous because I thought he was going to be found not guilty. So I was a little nervous. And uh, then after each guilty, I was, saying, whew, thank you, Jesus. Whew, whew, yes, yes. I was excited. So I get what you're saying that we shouldn't be, well, not we shouldn't be, but how you were happy and then, not so happy as well, because that shouldn't be, we shouldn't be in a place where we have to celebrate those small victories. But since we are, true enough, he shouldn't have been killed. And the same way, I'm sure we're going to talk about others since then or even on that day. But
Facts.
it shouldn't have happened. It's sad that it happened. I thank God that for the I believe she was 17 years old, the one that recorded it. I thank God that she recorded it, because if she didn't,
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been
right.
we wouldn't have this outcome. They would have still
Oh yeah.
protected their teammate. He would have still been keeping his job and business as usual. But even though we shouldn't be where we are as a country, I am glad that he was convicted, and I pray that this will be the start of um, and I say that, but again, still to that day and the next day, somebody else was still shot and killed. But I just pray that justice will be served, and the police taking the lives of these innocent people, these innocent Black people. So that's my thought.
All right. Let me get a shout out to Jeremy, Mr. Carbon King, and also what's up, Melissa? You want to join this, Melissa? Because I know you want to, but I just wanted to get some. I just want people's opinion, because I mean, you got to understand that we celebrating. This is our country, and we celebrating a verdict. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. That's
And I think that's the
I,
part about it. Go ahead, Jerome. Go ahead, Jerome.
Yeah. My thoughts on it. That's interesting because I was kind of conflicted. When the whole thing started off, um, it brought me back to Rodney King, right? And
Hmm.
what I was thinking about with Rodney King was, it was on video. It was you seen it, and you saw what happened, and you seen how excessive it was, but yet the verdict didn't reflect, with those cops, what should have happened. So in my mind, I was like, this is very, high profile. Is very much in the public eye. But does this jury, will this judge allow a precedent to be set in this case? Um, so I'm like Willa. I didn't watch it uh, because I'm in my mind. I'm like, they're not going to set a precedent that everybody can use. Um, when they're in court, going forward. And to hear the
Hmm.
conviction, it was absolutely surprising to me that he was guilty on all three counts. Um, I thought I didn't celebration was not something that came to my mind because you know here we are in 2021. Why are we still in this situation?
Mhm.
Uh,
Hmm.
more so than why to celebrate a verdict. You know, you know, we shouldn't be in this situation. Um, but initially, that was my thoughts. I thought about Rodney King. I thought about the verdict. I thought about a precedent being set in that courtroom, and things going forward.
Okay, okay. Anybody want to jump back in on that?
Yeah. My thing of it is too is that can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, man.
Okay. My thing of it is this right here. The conviction is one thing. Let's see what happened with the damn sentencing. That's gonna be a different story there.
That's true.
You
The
feel what I'm saying?
replacement.
Let's see what's happened with this damn sentencing. Then we can talk about some shit then.
right,
That's so that you know what I'm saying? Like both the G, you know what I'm saying? That guy, he got killed in his own house, you know what I'm saying, by a cop, but she got 5 years.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
She got 5 years. Shit. Right? So, and even in Minnesota, he still can get if he get 20 years, 40 years, he don't have to do 2/3 of that shit, man.
right.
You see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
that's
So
right. That's the
like,
federal.
yeah, huh?
Wait a minute. In Minnesota, he only have to do 2/3.
Yeah, 2/3, man. 2/3 of that shit.
Oh,
So he's still
but you're
so
right.
this sentencing makes a fucking difference, man.
Oh, it
This
makes a
sentence,
lot of difference.
you know what I'm saying? This sentencing makes a difference. Then we talk about some shit. I ain't celebrating shit. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
and you
You
got
know
to
what I'm
think
saying?
about, and you got to think about also, he had those convictions, and then the sentencing, and then the other cops, uh, their trial
Got
comes up in August for aiding and abetting. So I mean, that's a that's still a lot going forward, because if you convict the other cops, and then that means that kind of that one bad apple theory goes out the window,
it
because
does. It
that was
does.
the bad apple, but the good apples were sitting around watching.
It does.
So
Now they
so
were
it
supposed to be trying them all together, but I think they said
right,
because of COVID, that's the reason why they separated the
right,
cases.
right.
So
No. I'm gonna tell you why they did that. Because
why?
they separated him from the police department. They made him seem like he was a lone ranger. He did that on his own. Notice that when you got cops testifying against cops,
Hmm.
and they was like, "This is not our procedure. This is," so they wanted to make that separation and
Yep.
said, "No, he did this on
Yep.
his own. This ain't got nothing to do with how we did it." Because you will have to try all of them like that. They're not going to try all of them like that. They're not going to
No,
come at
Exactly.
because
all of them like that. But do you see what I'm saying
I
though?
yeah, but I don't. If they wouldn't try them all like that because he was the main one with the knee. He was the only one with the knee on the neck. The other one had, parts of their body, we couldn't. I don't remember seeing either pictures or videos from the other side of the police car, but there were others kneeling on his body, but he was the only one that was on his neck. So
Right.
I don't believe that if convicted, I don't believe the sentence would be as high, but I believe they are. I believe since this first one was convicted, I believe the other ones will be convicted as well. That's what I believe. Or for
I think
some
that
reason.
Asian dude, but I think that Asian dude is gonna get burned. I don't think the other two will. But I think the reason why I say that is because, but you got to understand though, because I mean, is I'm listening. I like to listen to the dialogue of other people and how they looked at it, and if they, because I had one guy that said if he'd have put his knee in his back, like in between his shoulders, that would have been totally different. And I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, but if you put your knee on somebody's neck, you put your hands in your pockets, you
Hmm.
picking rocks out of the tires, and all everybody's like, you got the mob control, the mob control. His hand wasn't on his gun. His hand was in his damn pocket. He was sitting there
Hmm.
chilling. So it's it's showing us like they still don't care. It's no different
Hmm.
than what happened 250 years ago. This ain't changed. This has been what's up, Alex? You know, it's just
But you know
showing
what, B?
us
But you
fear.
know what, B?
We gonna keep y'all
You know what I'm
straight. Y'all not getting back what's
saying?
you're not gonna get back what's yours.
You know what I'm saying? And white supremacy is just as strong as it was, you know what I'm saying, back then. It's a different type of beast right now. It's more converted, you know what I'm saying, than it has been before. But it's still part of America. America was built on that foundation of white supremacy. It's embedded in America. And if your interest is to continue to keep power, because they know the demographics is shifting dramatically. The paradigm shift is drifting to the far side, where they no longer would be the dominated so-called race. So they doing all they can to hold on to power. So they got to keep the
Yeah,
system the way it is. They fighting tooth and nail to keep this shit going. It's gonna be dismantled. Whether it's going down. And, I mean, a lot of people going down with it, but they are holding on to this thing to the last fucking ship sinks, man. So until white supremacy is dismantled, we're gonna have more of this shit happening this summer. Probably tomorrow shit may happen, man. You know what I'm saying? Probably happening right now as we speak. Because the
true.
system
True.
of the do that it gives them the privilege to do what the fuck they want to do. And they're doing it very well, man. They good at it.
Well,
You want to
Tracy,
jump
you
in?
get in there.
You want to get in there, Tracy? Tracy got that look like I don't know. I don't know.
No, I mean I agree, and it's sad, but things could be going on right now, and then we'll hear about it tomorrow, or hear about it a week from now, or hear about it a couple weeks from now about what happened on today. That's just now being brought out for the public to see. So it's an unfortunate truth that we're dealing with.
I thought he was going to get manslaughter, and I thought that was going to be it. I didn't
No,
think he
but
was going to get murdered too. I didn't
but
thought
you
he
know what I'm
was going
saying?
to get murdered three.
Right.
They were brilliant. They was brilliant. They took it out of the local prosecutor hand, took it to the state. I mean, that was brilliant with the way they went about it. Keith Ellison, he went about it brilliantly. He knew exactly what needed to take place. Take it out of fucking in that area, take it to a different location, the state. You know what I'm saying? Let them do this shit, man. And that's why the outcome pretty much came the way it was. They changed the dynamic of it, and they knew the
Right.
third degree charge, because there was a president with it already in Minnesota with that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So when that black cop killed that white woman, he got charged with that shit. So it was
Yep.
already there. So he used
Yeah,
the
that
same
was
tactic.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So he used the same tactic and did it with the trial right here. That's why you got what you got for the most part.
Right.
He was smart with that shit. He turned his fucking tables. He was smart with that shit, man.
but
Go ahead,
I want to speak to something that well you brought it up, Willa, uh, put some more onto it, but the white supremacy piece, right? And what America's built on. You know, the system of racism that was set up is going to continue until somebody addresses the system. You know, until the system is rebooted, until the system is brought down, until the system is changed. I mean, there's not going. Of course, it's going to happen next week because that's part of the system. We've already told you what the fraternity of the police and how they started and what they are. But here's something interesting, Willa. You talked about the demographic changing, right? The demographic is changing, will change. 2050, they know what the demographic is. But here's the crazy thing: the mindset, the white mindset, or the white supremacist mindset can be passed on to somebody different.
You right.
It can
I
be
agree.
passed on to lighter skinned Americans.
I
It can
agree.
be passed on to
a mulatto, the mixed breed.
mulatto, or our Hispanic brothers and sisters, you know, which they already have white supremacy embedded in them because of the Spanish and how they when they came over here, how they set their mindset. That's why you know, we've all traveled to South America, Central America, Mexico, and we know there's racism already there. Why? Because it's a mindset that was given to them by their conqueror.
Yeah.
So until we can alleviate the mindset of white supremacy, not just in whites, uh, we're going to continue to have these problems. I don't care what the demographics are.
Oh, I agree, man. I'm saying, you know, the late Jacob Carruthers in his book Intellectual Warfare, he talks about this. Okay, he talks about the, you know, what I'm saying, the mindset of whiteness. Okay, and it goes across the board, from white people to black people to, you know, what I'm saying, Asian to whoever. It goes across the board. It's embedded. You know, what I'm saying, I mean, I agree with you 100%. You know what I'm saying? So yes, the system itself has to be dismantled. From America has to be damn near taken down, man, to a point where it has to be, you know, has to be rebuilt from the ground back up, because the way things are now, it cannot be efficient for everybody in America. It's a dog eat dog world, and everybody trying their best not to be at the fucking bottom.
Right.
So it goes to your point. You know what I'm saying? It goes to your point. So why all this going on? We have to make sure win the damn mix. We gotta make sure that we up in this thing fighting real hard to make sure that we are not at the fucking bottom no damn more. That point of it has to stop, period. You know what I'm saying? We can't be there no more. So we gotta find some type of way to make sure that doesn't happen. And I see some things happening with that now. You know what I'm saying? I see movements going on with this right now. So we just gotta make sure that, you know, we keep the flame burning, and we maintain, you know, the motivation to make sure that we make things better for ourselves. But as a collective, man, I ain't saying collective. Basically, as you say, Jerome, and I alluded to earlier, until white supremacy, the systematic of it or systemic of it has to go down, man. It has to be done with. It has to be done with, because it's actually dangerous for everybody. It's dangerous for everybody. I don't care what race you are. Racism is dangerous for every fucking. But I'm saying, but the people in power are able to control it a lot more than others can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your poor white folks in West Virginia, they worse than some of the black people, anybody else in America.
Right.
But still, they have that white supremacy mindset that, you know what, even though I'm voting against my best interest, I'm still vote for whiteness. And whiteness has been so damn strong that you will vote against your best interest. And, you know, you rather starve than allow me to get something. So, Yeah. Anyway.
No,
No, but I
no.
mean, you're right though. You're right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I just wanted to put a pin in what he's saying is because I think that's where we got the misconception is with racism. Racism is just this mechanism that's used by the elite. If until we can understand classism, we got to understand classism. We got to understand the difference in money groups, and that's what really controls America is classism. Racism is used to control ignorant people. Classism is used to control the world. Go ahead, Tracy. I ain't gonna hold you.
No, you fine. I don't have nothing to add to that. To what y'all saying right there.
I mean, and you're right, man. You know, have y'all read the book Cass?
Cass, yeah.
Right. Read the book Cass. You know what I'm saying? You know,
That was it. No, I haven't checked that one out yet. I haven't got that one.
You know what I'm saying? But by Isabel Wilkerson. You know what I'm saying? And she talked about what Jerome talking about too. You know what I'm saying? The whole classism situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that has a lot to do with it too, because if you go back to, you know, the big rebellion, you know what I'm saying? When you had the indentured servants and you had the slaves working close together, they came together somewhat, okay, but it's more to the story. But somewhat, they rebelled against the elites. But what happened was the elites went to the poor white folks and look, yeah, y'all poor, but you're white and you are better than black. So that's where the whole dynamic continued to move forward up to this day. Yeah, you poor, but you ain't black. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, black means nothing anyway. But I mean, it's interesting though. I mean, because that's something that we're gonna constantly keep fighting. But you see the strongholds kind of loosening, and they keep trying to grip it back down. Let me grip it back down because I mean, think about it. We celebrating this, and less than an hour later, we see a female get shot. By
Brian, I think you're freezing up.
Yeah.
No.
All right, am I back yet? Am I good?
Yeah, it's not me this time. It's your ass.
No, it ain't you this time.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got to look at it. All right, you got me this time, Wheeler. But no, we have to look at it though. You know, like I said, the female got shot. The next day, another man in North Carolina gets shot, and it's kind of like there's no repercussion. So, like what you were saying, Jerome, is can you use this case towards other police in the future? That's is they separated him and treated him. He's a regular civilian. That wasn't a cop that did that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, I get a lot of reverb.
You getting a lot of reverb?
Go ahead.
Okay. So now I just want to say this to your point. When you're talking about take for example, when you see people marching on the Capitol, right? Or you see people marching around and doing certain things, these are not the people that are in control of racism. These are not the people that are in control of the ignorance. These are the people that are affected by it. You know, so for us to change the system or for us to change what's going on, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think they're trying to tell us something.
But yes.
You froze too, Jerome.
Yeah, I know it. So for us to change the system, you know, we gotta change who we look at. we're not looking at the right people. You know, everyday people are not the ones that are in control of the system. You know, those that control the system
Right.
sit much higher. And you know, those that make
Yeah.
the decisions sit much higher. It's not those the guy at Walmart with AK-47. He's just a pawn, you
Right.
know, in the system.
Right.
Um, and so if you want to see change in the police, here's a quick change for you. See what you think about this, Wheeler. So when an incident happens, and there's a payout to the family, it's paid out by the city. The city takes tax money and pays it out. So you're paying for the police to abuse you, right? So if they start taking from the police pension, I guarantee you there'll be more policing inside of the police. They'll be like, look, dude, don't do that. That's my money you affected. They'll find
Right.
alternative ways to take people down. I guarantee you.
I mean, and I agree with you, Jerome. But that goddamn police union, some bad motherfuckers, man.
Oh, I already know. I
Human
know it.
language. They some bad people, man, and that's why they able to do what they're able to do. Because that police union has so much power that is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you. Until that money hit them where it really hurts, then yeah, it would make a difference. But until that power structure, as you alluded to, start to be dismantled from the top down, you know what I'm saying? Then it's not happening. Because, you know, the rest of them are pawns. Police station, the police, they pawns. The politicians and everything else allowing this stuff to happen like that. That's why they fight the way they fight, and you know what I'm saying, in the Senate, in the House, where they do, because they realize that we cannot allow black people or people of color, how you want to put it, to have certain type of rights, certain type of freedom that we cannot control. And it goes back down to the money thing. It's all about money at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Controlling resource, controlling money, all this kind of stuff. And the elite are the only one control it. We don't control it. They control that situation. So they're gonna make sure things are moved around the way they want to be done. So until we get to a point where we can put some more pressure on the power above, then it's not gonna happen below. You know?
Yo, I'm sorry, y'all, about this audio. I don't know what's going on. It's tripping,
Yeah.
tripping. Like somebody's recording us while we recording.
Have y'all heard about the law? I think I don't know if it's everywhere or in California or in Georgia, I'm not sure, but where the police are protected under certain laws. I can't remember what it's called, but I heard about it the other day.
It's called immunity, some type of immunity.
It is
yeah.
kind of like an immunity.
Huh? It's
It
immunity.
is kind of like an immunity. I don't know exactly what it is.
What is it called, man?
They called it something, and I was like, wow. And they were saying that's what that law is what
Right.
has to change, because if that law isn't changed, no matter what the cops do, they're protected under that law.
And that's why now you see why I said they separated him from being a cop to make him seem like he was a lone wolf and he did this on his own. You see what I'm saying? Now you see what I'm saying? They kind of like, yo, this is not what the police do.
Qualified immunity.
Qualified immunity. That's
There it is. So he wasn't protected by that. For one, that video was damaging. And to hear the police chief say the video that they got from the street didn't show that, which was kind of interesting. I'm like, what do you mean y'all didn't see that? So to see that on Facebook and find out after the fact that this is not part of the report, he did himself wrong. And then I hate the stereotype. It's his size. Look how big this guy was. It's 6'3". I mean, he's 6'8". He's so many pounds. I had to do that. But you didn't do no CPR. You didn't care about, You let
Right.
the paramedics come in, and they was like, "Yo, move."
Yeah. He still
You
didn't
know what
move
I'm
when they
saying?
originally
So
got there. Right.
you was separated. The police union was like, "Yo, we can't do nothing for you, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry."
But the
You
answer,
know?
Tracy's question, qualified immunity is pretty much throughout the whole country.
Yeah.
Okay.
It ain't, yeah, it's pretty much throughout the whole country. You know what I'm saying? So until legislation come down, that's why I told you the police unions are very damn strong. Oh, they advocated for that situation there. So that's why they start backing people like Trump and people like that, because they know they need certain policies in place to maintain that power structure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, to maintain whatever. So yeah, so it's pretty much throughout the whole country.
You know, it's kind of funny though, because Minnesota is maybe the only place I've seen them trial, and two cops got convicted, and maybe a third one might be convicted because of the female, that shot the 20-year-old guy.
Yeah.
I forgot. We did the show about that last week. Um, and seeing that situation, which is interesting because how this is the only thing this getting me is the body cam. They're releasing the body cam the very next day.
Right.
And she retired. I mean, she resigned the very next day too.
No, but I mean that same situation that happened to the young the young teenager that was in
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
That body cam was already being
Everybody's
shown,
been quick.
but it was being put out there to justify why he did what he did.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they are scared. And what got me after the trial is what the judge said after the fact about saying, well, for one, he was like when he told the defense that because of what Maxine Waters said, the congresswoman, is you can kind of use this as an appeal because now it's kind of like they forced them to say, to come up with this verdict. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
But they,
because you scared that we gonna riot? You scared that we about to tear this damn country up again? That
Right.
we got to make this dude guilty no matter what
but
because
they
we
can't
trying to stop a
they can't
riot
use
from
that.
happening.
They can't use that beat because no people were sequestered. So they should have no access whatsoever to news at all. So they can't use that as a pill tactic because them people, them jury should have had no access, no papers, no news whatsoever. So they should know whatsoever what Maxine Wallace said. So they can't use that as a pill, not at all. Because how would they know? They shouldn't know this shit.
But it was funny him saying that though.
Yeah, he's saying that because he's saying that shit. But based on how the jury runs, they are sequestered. They cannot have no type of information whatsoever. Period. So
That's
if
true.
anything got in there, then let's look at that shit. So they can't use it as a pill. They may try some other shit for a pill, but not that shit there.
So
Go ahead, Jerome. Jerome ain't got no chance to talk, man. Get in there.
uh, uh, I wanna jump back just a little bit. Y'all were talking about the law that protected them, right? And like I said, it goes back to all the way back when it was the slave patrol. And the slave patrol was protected and given rights to do anything to put slaves back in subjugation, right? Whether it be beaten, maiming, killing, whatever it took, to send that point across. The slave patrol turned into the police, right? So those things have not changed. Laws have always been enacted to protect those who um, are subjugating or controlling second class citizens, if you will.
Hmm.
It made me flash back when y'all were talking about the law that in Virginia, um, the female slave owners were beating black children to death, right? And to protect these women, they created what they call casual killing law. So, in
Yep.
the casual killing is if you beat a black child and it dies while you're disciplining, you shouldn't be held. Well, it will not be held against you in the eyes of the courts. And so these laws have always been in place. So if
Wow.
laws are put in place, and they're not taken out of place, they're still there.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's
And
sad.
if you look at, yeah, but it's the reality that we're dealing with, man. Is that, and if you are immersed in our history, in the history of America, you're gonna be fucking sad and mad. You're gonna be all emotional because hey man, it's tough, man. It's some tough stuff to swallow, man.
Let me
That
ask you
people,
this. Let me ask you this, Tracy. Let me ask you
Uh-huh.
this, Billy. So knowing that and looking at your faces, it seemed like the first time you heard that about casual killing. So is it our fault that we don't do our due diligence on the laws and what affects us as a
Yeah,
people?
I believe that it is because I think we should know what the law is. I don't read the laws myself. I don't go searching. Somebody said something to me before. Well, you don't know what you know. I probably said that to somebody. You don't know what you don't know. So I don't know what to look for if I don't know anything about it. But it is something that, you know, it could be just a search about laws regarding me,
Right.
regarding people like me, regarding my children, regarding my ancestors. It could be something as simple as that, but it's not something that I never thought about searching for.
well, it's a combination of some things, Jerome. Yes, we gotta do our due diligence, but if you don't have that, if you taught, if you're not taught to do stuff like that, if you're not trained to do stuff like that,
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, you're not gonna do that. So,
Right.
but as of today, we should be a lot more enlightened than we were before. But
Thank
um, but yeah, if you know what I'm saying, if you wasn't taught these types of things, man, if you weren't dealing with this stuff direct, you know what I'm saying. Now we have easy access to information. So if we hear something like tonight, we're talking about something, we can easily go to the computer and look it up, whatever, or you know what I'm saying, take the information, dig further into it. But if we're not taught to do that type of stuff, you're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for shows like you guys have, because now people who not familiar with that type of process may know what to do now. You know what I'm saying? Know where to start at. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple of things that make it happen the way it happened. But once you know, now it's your responsibility to continue to know. And to continue to go further with that. But you have to be enlightened to it first in order for you to do that, man. So yeah, man, it's a couple of things with that situation that you're wrong.
Mhm.
it's a man. Listen, one of the first things that I ever learned about the law is this, and I'll tell you it after I mention the situation. So, um, we always wonder why these cops keep getting off. We always wonder why um, situations don't turn out the way we think. Right? We don't get privy to some of the information that happens in courts, right? Unless we get the transcripts. Um, and see, here's the thing: when we're just talking about educating ourselves on things, every court in the land will tell you ignorance is not a defense of the law. Just because you didn't know it doesn't mean anything. And see, we don't understand the law that are protecting the ones that are hurting us. We don't understand the laws that are protecting the ones that um, keep us subjugated mentally. Because Brian mentioned a word earlier. He talked about our freedom, right? Well, freedom is one thing. Freedom is thought. That's all freedom is. Freedom is not anything to do with the law. Freedom is not what has to do with the law is what we call liberty. That which you are allowed to do. That's liberty. Freedom is your mind. And that freedom has been taken from us, mentally. If you are intimidated when you see a policeman, they've taken your freedom.
Facts.
If you
Damn.
are if you are scared to go to court, even for a traffic ticket, they taking your freedom. Liberty is what you're allowed to do. Freedom is your mind.
Mm, that's good.
Well,
Dude, that was deep.
rights, yeah, rights and stuff. But if your mind has been programmed a certain type of way for years, it's hard for you to have that type of freedom. So yeah, you see a police officer come, you're gonna freeze up. Yeah, if you had, you know what I'm saying, that PTSD type of stuff start to happen, and so your mind is hard to become free. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So for some of us, that is the case. You know what I'm saying? You've been so damn bombarded with this type of image and mindset and everything for so long, you see no other way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like
Right.
Harriet Tubman said, what suppose he had said, I could have freed a lot more slaves if they know they was, you know what I'm saying? They were slaves. So this type of image and mindset and everything. So if you're not mindful of that, then how can you free your mind? You know what I'm saying? So it's a process, man. It's a process that we still dealing with today, man. You talking about 400 years of some strong stuff, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you with the whole freedom in your mind, man. But if your mind been programmed for so many years, and generation after generation after generation, it's been put in your mind that the white man is this or the police is this and that and everything else. You have a hard time being able to exercise your freedom of your mind, and that's tough, man. That's tough, man. Because as of today, if a cop get behind me, I'm a little cautious. I'm a little concerned. You know what I'm saying? And at that moment, I mean, I have freedom of my thought, if based on what you were saying. So but based on what's been going on with our people and the cops and stuff, man, I'm a little more. I'm a little more cautious, man, with that situation when I'm dealing with them, man. So
I don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust them to a point where I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do to me for any fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to come in any type of proximity with them. If I'm driving, they pull up beside me, I keep my head straight because I don't want no interaction whatsoever because I don't know what they're doing, what they're thinking. I don't want to deal with them because I see the history of that. Now it may not be rational. It may not be rational thought. It may be a very irrational thought. Because 9 times out of 10, they keep going. You know what I'm saying? So, but in my mind, that one time could be the last time. So I get that whole mindset when you're dealing with PTSD type of stuff, man, or being programmed so long, man. It's hard for your mind to become free, basically.
True.
And then that creates that problem because um we I'm not going to say we because I don't get nervous personally, but I know people that do get nervous when a cop pull up or whatever, and because that fear is instilled in us, we may not realize it, but it's a generational thing because now if your children are in the car or if somebody, a relative or a niece and nephew or whoever is in the car with you, they feel or they get that fear from you. Now they grow up and have the same fear. True enough, we have to deal with this, in society. It may not happen to us personally, but it's happening where we're seeing it because of social media now. I'm sure it was going on, for years before, but we never heard about it because social media wasn't as prevalent. But now that we are seeing it and it's in our face almost every month, it seems like. And that fear is like a generational thing. And then our kids are now going to be afraid of the police. And it was like, I remember seeing something like a 2-year old, got scared because the police, they saw a police and, oh my God, you're going to go to jail. Oh my God, you're about to get killed. And
Right.
just that fear growing up. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And if that's still, and it's not a problem that we necessarily have to fix, but they have to fix it. If society doesn't fix it, then unfortunately
we're going to continue to grow. Our kids are going to continue to grow up and be afraid of the police, and
I
it
agree.
shouldn't be that way.
I agree. That
I
generation.
agree too. I agree too. And it's bad when I have to teach my boys to be a certain way around cops. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm indoctrinating them in the fear
Mm-hmm.
of how you should be. Because what gets me is why you just comply. Just do what the
Yep.
officer said.
It doesn't matter.
Because we're making them God. They supposed to serve and protect us.
Mm-hmm.
They walk up like, "Yo, I own you, boy."
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I hate it though because I got friends as cops,
Me too. I
and it's
got.
kind of like,
That's what
what do you say? How do we deal with this issue? How can we get past this? You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, we only know of one black cop that has killed somebody and been convicted, and I mean, she killed somebody that was not part of this country. So you knew they throw the book at his ass, but he got 10 years, right?
Yep.
So,
Like, yeah, 10, 20 years. Like, yeah. So
but what you were saying real earlier though is the sentencing is going to be the interesting part.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
really
think
going to be: is he going to get 20 years? Is he going to get 10? Or
right.
they keep saying if because he did it in front of a child makes it even more. So I think the key aspect of this trial and what convicted him was that video
Mm-hmm.
and that little girl testifying against him saying what she saw.
Mm-hmm.
So, because look at how many people who are scarred for life. The
Mm-hmm.
dude that say that for one, did anybody say that was a counterfeit $20 bill? It's alleged.
Right.
It's
He just
still not
thought it
even saying
was
that it
until
was
he
even
saw the
fake or not.
proof.
So what did he die for? Did he
yo,
did he literally did he die for he say she say?
he
And
died
that's not
because
even nothing to call the police over.
it's not.
Okay, if somebody try to come in the store with a fake $20 bill, well, it's fake. You can't get nothing by.
That's
What's
it.
wrong?
And my thing is, and that maybe they had a previous relationship. Am I correct?
You correct. You correct.
So if they had a previous relationship where they knew each other, and you
Mm.
would put your knee on and choke this man out like that,
That
me
yeah.
personally, that to me is first degree because it's like you had an agenda with what you was
They
doing,
had a motive behind it.
Yeah.
right? So, but neither here nor there, we got a conviction. Somebody asked the question, or Nicole asked the question about society. Does society know how to fix this? I think Tracy had brought up society fixing it. And
Society.
I
What does
said
it mean?
no
Society can
because
fix it. It's
I
part
don't
it's
know.
if
part of the
society
system.
could, if they could fix it, it would be fixed. Um,
What she mean by society? I'm not understanding what she mean by society.
well, I don't want to put words in her mouth.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what you mean by society. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, all the, I mean, I'm not understanding it. Is a particular society as far as
Oh,
I'm
you
not.
talking about culture like black society, white
Yeah, I mean,
society?
she
I
said
think as
society.
a country,
I think
as a
she says as a collective, America, the American society. I think that's what she's going for. Nicole, you can come on there
I'm gonna take that too.
and
As a nation, as a
Okay, as
nation.
a
you can
nation. Okay,
comment on what you meant.
yes.
Come
I mean,
on, Nicole. Yo, what's up, crew cut?
it's
What's
gonna,
up,
it's
Fruit
gonna,
Cut?
hey, it's gonna take some people. It's gonna take. What's your? Yeah, go ahead, Michelle. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michelle. How you doing, Michelle? You in here?
No, Michelle ain't jumped in here
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Michelle acting like she's so busy. Yep, she said correction as a nation.
oh, it's a nation. Okay. Um, I mean, how else would it get done? Shit. How else would it get done? Unless it's done by a nation.
but like I said, if it could be done, I think it would be done. You could go back to the early 20s, early 30s, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was in the president. His wife's platform. The president's wife always has a platform.
Yeah,
Her
Eleanor, exactly.
platform
Right.
her platform was to stop lynching in America. I mean, think about that. Did you have to say that it's wrong to hang people for no reason, and you have to
Right.
do it at a presidential level? This
Wow.
society, this is the same society you think is just gonna fix itself? Nah.
Yeah, but see, and I agree to a point. That was the 1920s. You know what I'm saying? So that had a lot to do with the dynamic of what it was then. Things are a little more different than that time period, and I think people
I
are a
agree.
little more, and people mind a little more open than it was back then. So we're not segregating no more in a certain area. We're not, so certain things are not being done like it was back then. So to a degree, we may be able to do it as a. It's gonna take a nation. How else would it be done? How else
Oh
can it
yeah,
be
yeah,
done?
yeah,
Unless
definitely,
you know
definitely.
what I'm saying? So only way for it to be done is enough people say this should have got to be. Enough people has to say that this cannot continue to happen. So as a nation, as a majority, I would say, or a power move, some kind of way has to happen to a point where it has to change the dynamic of what's happening. So
Somebody asked
it's gonna take a nation in the how can I put this in a certain perspective, man. You know what I'm
Let
saying?
me let me clarify what I said, because I'm not saying that it can't happen, that it shouldn't happen. I'm
It
just
won't.
saying, but left to itself, I don't think it would happen. The reason why I say that is, okay, they were lynching back then. This man got lynched in front of these people. But what
Mm.
was the words that are people saying? Well, maybe he wouldn't be dead if he would have complied.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the same thing as what happened in the 20s and 30s. It's just different language. You know,
But yeah, but he to a degree.
he was handcuffed.
When
He
that
had 3 people on top of him.
right,
You
but then
did.
you saw what happened. But then you saw what happened. You saw what happened throughout the whole world when that happened. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right, right.
A nation came together.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. I'm putting my mic on mute. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, a nation came together at that moment. Even the world came together and said this shit right here is not cool. So they had
I agree.
some type of perspective of what took place with this guy being charged and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So as a nation, that did make a damn difference with the particular outcome here. So I think, yeah, we can as a nation make this shit different, man. We can make it. It can be different, man. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that. I believe that. I was just saying left to itself.
Well,
That's
left
all.
to itself, hell no. It'd be more of us. Hell no, it can't happen. Like no, hell no.
All right. We got a special guest that just happened to join us. Now we can get some clarification going on. What's going on, Nicole?
Hey,
You know, I
Nicole.
couldn't type fast. Hey, Tracy, I see you. I was like, hey, Tracy. I was already saying hey when I joined in. I ain't doing. You know, I can't type as fast as I wanted to. I was like, I'm not typing fast enough for y'all responses. But I guess the reason why I asked, I heard Tracy say that we as society has to change. Put it forth. I guess to change the behaviors, right? Is that what I'm hearing? And this gentleman, how you doing? What's your name?
Willa.
I know Jerome. I know
You
Brian.
you call me Wheeler.
Hi, Wheeler. So you're saying that as a society we have to change, right? That's kind of what you're saying.
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
Who that question directed towards?
Wheeler, because I
Oh.
heard Wheeler at the end when I came in.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is, the behavior is so embedded in the culture that I don't even think people understand, right? It's because I'm actually reading this book called Caste, and it's kind of talking about the cat. I don't know who read it.
Yeah, I just mentioned that earlier.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so it's and just reading the book Cash, I'm like, this is what we did. It's been embedded forever, and people don't even realize that they're in this caste system. Even the ones that said, oh, "I'm not racist," even them, I'm not racist, right? But it's already embedded into the culture, right? So these police officers, the ones that are out here, bye, it's nice meeting you. Your hair looks beautiful. Sorry, I'm at my friend's house. I'm never home. I'm at my friend's house. But yeah, with this culture, they have this attitude like, how dare you? How dare you question me? I'm a police officer. That's that caste attitude. That's that, like, you're beneath me, right? And so then how do you change? How do you change that mentality? Because that mentality was been in them from the day they was born, right? They're the superior, and we're supposed to be the submissive.
Yeah, I and I agree with you on that. However, we may not see it in our lifetime, but it doesn't mean that it cannot take place, because as I mentioned earlier, the demographics are shifting, and you probably have more interracial couples than you ever probably seen before. So some things are shifting to a point where it wasn't before. So we may not see it in our lifetimes. Our kids may see it, our grandkids may see it, but it's going to take a society to change that mental, as you alluded to, for it to happen like that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to continue to take one step at a time, or whatever it takes for it to happen, but we cannot take our foot off the pedal. So we got to keep trying the best we can to make a difference.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't give up. I agree with you there. Yeah. There's no giving up. We definitely got to, keep moving forward. But one guilty verdict, or the 3 guilty verdicts that he has, it don't. Yeah, as my friend behind me who's sweeping.
I know that's right. You know you're
hey, now, yo, she cleaning at 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
You know she's a black house now.
You know that's the person who keep getting on stage.
Look, I try to get out of her way, and she came right behind me with the broom.
Hold on, what's on the floor? What's on the floor that she got her sweeping? She like, I don't want them to see that in here.
Hey, she don't care about that. She's making sure that thing is it's wet when she on the bed. That house is not gonna be like that. The dishes gonna be washed. The floor's gonna be swept. You better believe that.
Right, exactly. No, absolutely.
They're not there.
But yeah, one verdict is not out, so it's not, it's a verdict. I'm grateful for it, right? I'm grateful for it. But then what are we doing with the people that this cancel culture, right? You think racism is still there, right? People are mad. There's a bunch of them that are out there that are still mad. And as a society now, we're like, oh, you're offensive. Turn them off. Move them out the way. Back up. We don't want to hear that. But they're still there. They didn't change anything. We didn't teach them nothing. Right? So you still have this underground of racism now that we can't even see, because now we out here canceling everybody and moving them out the way. Like, oh, get off the TV, or oh, you don't get you can't be on a radio, or you can't be on a podcast, or no, social media, cut that out. It's there. And if we don't start teaching and educating everybody and saying, okay, this is why we see this as being racist, versus just canceling people out, it's going to be a real difficult task to think that society is going to change, because it's always going to be there.
Yeah, change has to happen based on what we do. You know what I'm saying? If we do,
who's we?
Us.
You said
all of us. It's going to take all of us. It can't be exclusive to no particular person for it to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because
what does change look like then? I guess.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
What does change look like? What do you mean? Like you said, change. You said we.
It looks like no more that shit is taking place. What's taking place now? You know what I'm saying? We are dismantling. You know what I'm saying? The justice system. We changing the dynamics of what's happening now, what's been going on for the last 400 years. You know what I'm saying? So what I mean by change is that we have to do certain things to impact that change or influence that change. If we don't try to do something to make this happen, it's not going to happen, and it's going to take all of us. It can take one particular person or people for that to happen, because it's affecting all of us, but mostly it's affecting people, black people. But we did not create the situation,
No, we didn't.
so it's going to take mostly of them to change the way their mindset is versus us. But we have
to start change, you have to accept that it's there, it's happening. Like you have to accept that you're doing what you're doing. Even like when you're an alcoholic, they be like the first step in alcoholic is to own the fact that, hey, I'm alcoholic.
So that goes to the education system then.
You know what I'm saying? And there being some,
and that's divided though, Brian. Like the education is divided, right? Like think about how I can tell you, because I lived up and down the East Coast.
No,
right?
no. Wait a minute. Understand when I said the education system is how you start with what are you putting into these kids at the age of 4 or age of 5, and what history are you teaching them? Because you got to understand, all the history that we've been taught has been a lie anyway. So they got to start telling the truth about stuff and start trying to hide the dark secrets of how America was built and how America has become what it is. Because if you would explain this to a kid, they're going to be like, well, how did we let this happen? And you be like, no, this has always been here. We just happen to create this bubble to protect you so you don't have to deal with it. So when you get grown, that's when you really have to deal with it, because you're not under the protection of your parents. You see what I'm saying? So it does start with the education of what you're allowing your kids to learn, or what you're allowing them to accept as truth, versus a lot of this shit is actually fiction. America is fiction.
America's full of lies.
Huh?
I mean, it's full of lies. It's not that. It's his story.
See, right. And that's where it starts at. Because if you start teaching the real history, these people, some, not a lot, because you got to understand, they carry this on from generation to generation, this lie and this lie and this lie. So it's too much like you're saying. Go ahead.
It's when you say it's passed on generation to generation, we talk like racism is an oral story. It's not.
It is to a certain extent.
No, listen to me.
Okay, go ahead.
Racism is the system itself. I'm not talking about the ignorance that can be passed on through a family, the ignorance that can be passed on through a culture. I'm talking about the system itself, the education system, the justice system, the whole framework of the United States. This is what you're going to have to change. If you don't change those things, it won't fundamentally change anything in the United States. You think we're all just going to wake up one day and sing Kumbaya and say, you know what, I just don't see color anymore. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to see color. We're not colorblind, and it makes no sense to be colorblind. If you're colorblind, you're taking away the individuality of everybody. So you have to fundamentally change the system that we're sitting on. It ain't got anything to do with how we feel about each other. Because if all about how we felt, since the 60s, it's been on TV, how we've been treated, and it hasn't swayed walls, because take for example, when they started showing the dogs and the water hoses being put on people in the 60s, it changed South Africa. That's what caused them to start fighting against apartheid. So what does it change in America? What has it changed with the other people in America? They've seen it every day. How many videos does it take for you to sway a mindset? So until you change the fundamental system of what everything's based on, you're not going to see that.
You said something. And you said something. Look at what happened in
I see a
South
lot of
Africa.
people.
Look at what happened in South
Right.
Africa. In South the colonizers losing the land, and the land is being turned over to the people, the original homeowners. They're afraid that's going to happen to
Okay.
America because they mirror each
Okay.
other.
But listen, they saw what we done on TV or how we were standing up to it. They took the next step of changing the system. They
Yes,
changed the system. They changed the system of law. They changed the system of governing. They changed all those things. Until we can do that, there's not
Well,
going to be any change.
but that came about. That came about. Any change in South Africa came about 30, 40 years after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Most of the change that happened in South
But it
Africa
changed.
happened, you know what I'm saying, when Mandela came about. You know what I'm saying? So the laws, they still had the same type of laws they had before, even then. Now, the movements probably got stronger, but no laws got changed. The law stayed the same that it was. Now, for the most part, the changes started in 1994 when he came, 1990, 94, whatever time period when he came out of prison and he became the
Right.
president. Them things, changes start happening gradually at that moment. But yes, a lot of people in different places, a lot of black people in different places took their cue from America. All right, the civil rights movement, a lot of them did that. South Africa, prime example. England as well. South Africa, you know what I'm saying? Venezuela, a place like that. Brazil, they did it as well. But mindset is the key thing. What you know what I'm saying? That who was it? Nicole alluded to. She said the mindset has to change. You know what I'm saying? So it starts with the educational part. How can we re-educate? But see, and some of it is happening right now. The 1619 project has been introduced in various school systems throughout America. That is a start somewhere to help educate the white kids as well as our own kids about some of the black history of America. You know what I'm saying? Beyond the civil rights. Now it's more to that, as you and I know that, you know what I'm saying, as we know that. But there's some type of change that happening from a mindset, from an educational perspective. We just got to continue to make that happen. Change can happen, but it's gonna take a lot of fucking effort for it to happen, and time as well. And as I alluded to earlier, it may not happen with us, maybe with our kids and grandkids, but I think as a society, we can get a lot better because America cannot sustain itself the way it is. It cannot do it. America cannot sustain itself in the same mindset it has right now. America will destroy itself because all great societies always destroy itself from within. So if it keep the same mindset, just like Rome, just like Greece, it will fall down from within.
Collapse.
So society has to shift itself because one thing about change is it's there. It happens. It's part of part of evolution. You know what I'm saying? Evolution gonna make the situation happen. So we may not see it, our kids may not see it, our grandkids may see it, but society will be different maybe 100 years from now. It may be a lot different. I believe that. I really do believe that. But until that time comes, you know what I'm saying? We gotta keep fighting, man.
True.
Go ahead, Tracy.
No, I believe that too. And that's our prayer. But I was looking at the chat, and I don't know if Jerome, you're seeing the chat, but Alex Samuel has been talking to us in the chat.
What did he say?
So he said change looks like the removal of the chokehold off the books, as well as for them to take accountability of wrong actions and policy that's already placed and should be removed, as well as the removal of a lot of racist statues. I skipped one. He said based on lies and nothing else. And then he said as well as removal of a lot of racist statues that I thought would have never been brought down or removed. Images, everything, and that's true. I think I was talking to my mom the other day about that bridge in Selma. the Pettis, the
Yeah.
Pettis Bridge.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm surprised that it's still called the Pettis Bridge. When I looked up who that was, I'm like,
Right.
why is it still called the Pettis Bridge?
Right.
Why?
They're working to change it to John Lewis, so we'll see how that goes.
They're asking to change it, but yeah, Pettis was a Klansman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wasn't he like a marshal?
Yes.
One of them high Klansmen, one of the ones with the red caps.
Yes, he was high, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
We were Grand
Why are
Marshal.
we still?
Grand Marshal. Yeah, Grand Marshal.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, but it was always called that. It was called that. Okay, yeah, thank you. It was always called the George Pettis Bridge forever. That was they should have been changed a long time ago. But
Yeah, like most schools.
Right,
like
and so
yeah.
go ahead. You're right. Like most schools.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tracy.
I live in Virginia.
I'm sorry.
I live in Virginia. I live in Richmond, and there's a like a road. It was called Jeff Davidson Highway. That's been
I know what that is.
Yeah, that's been changed now. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, it has.
So I mean, so change look like that. It looks like that. You know what I'm saying? The steps is coming down. School's name's been changed. It looks like that. So that what change look like. In a fraction of it's a fraction, but it's still.
We need Listen, we need legislation.
We do.
That ain't gonna change it.
I agree with you.
No, but some legislation. There's a lot of legislation that's on the books. That is. There's a lot of legislation on the books. That is just,
it benefits who? It benefits.
It don't benefit us. It don't benefit us.
That's
we
what
have
I'm
to
saying.
But that's why I said legislation has to change. And like, so you said somebody posted something about like changing the chokeholds and all that stuff, right? Didn't you say somebody posted about that?
On Facebook. Mm-hmm.
Right, absolutely.
There it is, right there.
So, right. So then now you're talking about breaking the blue wall, because there's the blue wall. There is a blue wall.
Right, definitely.
Right. The people that spoke up against Chauvin. Right, that was the first time you ever seen anybody testify against other police officers.
Fact.
Yeah, Brian said that.
Ever, because there's this silent blue wall. Even when they killed Walter in Staten Island, with the cigarette with the Lucy.
Oh, you talking about?
Oh my God, I can't believe Eric Garner. Right. He said,
Eric
right?
Garner.
Everybody knew that was wrong. Ain't nobody step up and say that was wrong, right? That is breaking that blue wall. And finally, for the first time ever, we saw it. But also, his chief of police was African American.
Yeah.
I don't think that really mattered. I don't think
it mattered. I don't think it mattered.
You just couldn't justify what he did. You can't justify what he did. Now, when it comes to the chokehold,
there's a bunch of people that. But wait a minute. If that's the case, have you heard about the sister who was fired from her job because she stopped her fellow officer from doing the chokehold because he was about to kill that man?
Yeah, she's got
and just recently she got her money. You heard about?
Wow.
She just recently she got fired. They allowed that cop to sue her. The court said that she was wrong for stopping this man from choking her fellow officer, from choking another black man. He was going to die, right?
Wow.
And so just right before the verdict, it came back. You're right. And by the way, the guy that she was trying to stop ended up long term getting fired. He got promoted, then got fired for doing the same thing to somebody else.
Because that's part of police procedure.
Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's this blue wall that everybody is like, they protect. Like, how dare you come across from cop to cop? You can't, it's like this blue wall where you get shunned. How dare you talk negatively about another cop? Like, it's real.
Actually, this is kind of interesting.
And that's when it goes back to legislation, and it goes back. And the person who said changing the chokeholds are absolutely right. We got to put in laws. Laws have to be put in. That's legislation. to be like, okay, that has to stop.
Hey, check this out. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this comment this guy Omega Red just said. Let us be real. We wished for change without war. Since when have real change happened without a war? Interesting.
I wouldn't say.
Hey, I'm sorry not to cut y'all off. How do I find y'all on Facebook? My friend's trying to hear this conversation.
Go to Jerome's page.
Just go to the Jerome page or go to the 3-Headed Monster podcast page.
Or just tag her. Can y'all tag her?
Too late.
Right?
No. But I mean, I want to see what y'all tell me. What y'all think about this comment? Just tell me what you think about that comment.
What was the comment?
Look,
it's on the screen. Let's be real. We wishing for change.
We wishing for change without war. Since when have real change happened without war?
And that's what they're scared of. That's what they was like. Absolutely. Y'all about to protest. They keep saying looting, tearing up shit.
So when he's
telling
saying
you what all that damn protest is, but that's what they saying is you got to create that fear because they're scared. If we all keep getting pissed off, eventually something's going to break up. It's going to pop off.
Right. I don't know if war would be the right choice of words to use, but definitely not just sitting back and sitting quiet. As far as protesting, I don't even know if necessarily rioting is the right way to go about it, but we have to do something, and I don't think war would be the answer. But as far as just not being silent, making sure we're loud and boisterous without destroying stuff. That's just me personally.
No. But looting happens on both sides. We just happen to be our protest during the day, and at night, you don't know who doing what at night because there's no sunlight. So we get blamed for a lot of stuff that it's not happening. You know, we get blamed for this and get blamed for that. That's what they're going to do. I get that.
But as far as
but think about this.
As far as war, if nothing is going to change, or if it has to take war for things to change, I'm thinking is war the right word?
What
revolution?
I don't know if the word. Yeah. I don't know.
Go ahead, Jerome. I mean, let Jerome. I want to see what Jerome got to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerome.
All right. I think I'm with the word war. I think war takes on some different aspects.
It does.
When you think of war,
it does.
I think mainly when you think of war, you think about battling, shooting, going back and forth. Well, I mean, there was a war on drugs. There was a war on homelessness. There was a war on
the war on drugs was not war on drugs. The war on drugs was to put black people in jail.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's a play on words when you use the word. But war. When I hear the word war, I think of strategy. I think.
But see, that's you. But once you put it out there for interpretation, my definition of war can be different from yours. Like we said, we going to war.
That's what I'm saying. War has
place.
Right. War has different connotations.
Different meaning. But I believe the sister who made the post who said we have to go to war. I mean, change didn't happen. I hear what she's saying. Change didn't happen until we started yelling and screaming after George Floyd, and we started, until people started really going out in the street and tearing up some stuff. Now all of a sudden everybody's like, wait. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that everybody needs to go tear up stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, it wasn't heard. We've been screaming this since Trayvon Martin. Let's real talk, right? Since Trayvon Martin walking with Skittles, we've been out here protesting. We tried it the Martin Luther King way, peacefully and respectfully. And
let's get Martin. Let's go Malcolm X. Let's go Malcolm X on this shit. And the reason why I say this because their attention, they got their attention when we start tearing up shit, or when these people start tearing up shit, it got their attention because why? It's messing around with the corporation and it's messing with the money.
Let me say this. That's where you got to attack him at the money. But with Martin
Exactly.
and Malcolm, you know, people always, where did Malcolm say let's go to war and cause a war between people? What did he say by any means necessary? He says by any means necessary. That's a lot of connotations to that. Listen,
Right. That's why I say.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let me just get this point out.
I'm sorry.
When I think war, just like when she talked about going out in the streets, riding, listen, that's cool, but it has no organization to it. It has no tactics to it. Mm-hmm. You know, war has organization. It has tactics. Sun Tzu says you don't even go into war until you already planned out the battle of how to win. So what is our plan to win? What is our ultimate tactic in this war? Because if you look at slavery, you look at the time of slavery, we always was at war. There was always revolutions. We were always not laying down for slavery. They don't tell you that in history.
Right.
But that's the reason why the country had to come together and stop and abolish slavery, is because it was costing them too much to keep people enslaved. But
no, it is. I'm going. So the reason why Abraham Lincoln, if we recall, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Wait a minute. So let's go back. It was Frederick Douglass that taught Lincoln into saying no, we shouldn't have slavery. But Lincoln wanted to ship black people to South America. And
how much did that cost?
They were losing.
Right.
They were losing. So Lincoln went to the black leaders of the time, brought them to the White House to tell the black leaders, listen, we're losing. And I think the best thing we should do to get rid of slavery is ship all of the black people out. He knew slavery was wrong, but let's get them out and ship them to South America. It was Frederick Douglass to say, no, wait a minute. If you allow the black people to enlist into the army, we will win the war. And because of that, and because we started to win the war, that's when Lincoln was like, he said, oh, yeah. Well, one, he said, okay. Then we started winning the war. Then he signed Emancipation Proclamation. Then he had an epiphany like, oh my God, these people are really nice. Oh, they're really good people. They're strong. Oh my God. Yeah. You know what? Oh, I like them. Yeah. And then he made a speech to say, now these people need to vote. And that's when he got killed. There was no strategy in that war. Period. I say all that to go back to say, what was the strategy in the war? Ship the black people to South America. That was the strategy.
No, not necessarily.
You know what? Hold up. Wait a minute. You ain't gonna be able to walk away from this.
No,
you ain't gonna walk away from this. No fighting words right there.
No. You told it. No, you were doing well. You
took it from a perspective.
No,
you took it from somebody else's perspective. That ain't that real reason. It's more to it. It's more to that. They just told you enough to get you all happy, joy.
What perspective?
Look right here.
What was the perspective? That's how it originally started.
You got to understand, what is Lincoln? What was Lincoln? Lincoln is what?
He's the president.
No. What race is Lincoln?
No, let's go back. We talked about war. I don't know what you're talking about. What race is Lincoln?
You got to understand who is Lincoln. You got to understand who is Lincoln and what Lincoln was fighting for. How did Lincoln become famous?
What race? He's a white man.
Nope.
He was a white man.
Nope.
A plantation.
That's not important.
I don't understand.
No.
We talk about war. We talk about war and strategy. And I was like, there's no strategy. They didn't have no damn strategy.
We're moving the goalposts.
What was it?
To answer the question.
My friend jumping on the sideline. I was like, what's going on?
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. All right, wait a minute. I'm lost right now. Huh?
What was it?
Actually,
What is a white man? So what is he?
no, he's not. He's mulatto. He's mixed.
He's mulatto.
He's mixed breed.
Oh, mulatto.
He's mulatto.
That's
He's
white.
mulatto. You sure?
That's white. They don't
You
make
sure?
mulatto people black.
Whoa.
They're not brown.
I don't
You sure?
Mulattoes are not brown.
I disagree with you on that one.
Mulattoes are not brown.
Oh,
Mulattoes are not black. They're not niggas. They are white people.
Wait, what are you talking about? Stop
Wow.
They not white. He said what race?
Wow. Hey, Jerome, I don't know what to say on that one.
Because you know why? You know why?
She's
B?
wrong, but I mean,
I don't
Let
know.
Will in there.
He said mulatto. I don't know.
We left.
You know, I don't know what I don't know. I'm be honest. I don't know. Am I ignorant to not know what mulattoes are?
If we get back
I
to the
want
point,
to know.
I don't
get back
know.
to the point.
hold on. All right. We'll talk about Lincoln another day because
Right. Yeah.
Nicole, I'm gonna tell you now, Nicole. I understand
Cheers.
where you're coming from,
What are mulattoes?
but
It's
it's
not,
not.
mulattoes are not really. That's not the subject.
It's
It's
not
about
accurate.
mulatto.
That's not
No, he
accurate.
asked what race he was.
I don't know what.
The mixed
I
breed.
always thought Lincoln was white.
Hey, B.
I know.
You went
All
there.
right,
I don't know.
hold on. Let's get back to where we were because I feel like we talking about something that's not even fucking important right now. All right,
Right.
hold on. Wait, where we at?
It don't
Who
matter.
want
It
to
don't
go at
matter.
it? Jerome?
We
Or
done
gonna
with
let
Lincoln.
Willa? Go ahead, Willa.
Willa. Go ahead,
Hey, I
Will.
would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would conject. I would conject
happened to
that
Tracy?
young, the
I'm
the
back.
person who talking about war was talking about what Drone alluded to. The war that she talking about is physical war. It's actual war. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no protest. She talking about war as it is. And what
Who's talking
Jerome
about war?
said, and what Jerome said is true. Until we have a strategic or strategy to deal with that, that's not going to be able to happen because we're too scattered and we don't have certain people in place to make that happen. So as of right now,
My bad about it.
war is out the window. That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's not feasible right now to do that. That's a bad idea right now.
I agree. We're not in a place to have war.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
We have to have. You have. Even with all the protesting that was going on, during all that time that was going on, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, now what are we asking for? Right.
Right.
You know, obviously we was walking around, hands up, don't shoot, no peace with racist police, all that chant was going on. I said, but what's the ask? We're doing a lot of marching, we're doing a lot of protesting. What are we looking for after this? Because we do that and then nothing changed. Right. So and the only way things change in America is through legislation. That's the only understanding.
So you said we got to play their game.
People understand, huh?
We have to.
It's the financial game.
We have to.
It's the
Financial,
financial game.
absolutely. There's a finance. Yeah, you're 100% correct. There's a financial into it as well. But to play the game, you have to look into legislation.
Yeah, when the money starts,
You have to have an ask, huh?
If we ain't changed them laws since 1865, they ain't gonna change.
No,
You talking about we got to participate. We got to participate in the changing of the laws.
Cool. What do you mean participate, Jerome?
What I'm talking about, educating the people on the law, and because working with your local legislation, working with your state legislation. You're not going to change it at a federal level, but you can change it at a state level. You can begin to take laws that you feel are adverse to how we live and get those things changed.
Go ahead, Tracy. I think you ain't said that in a while. Jump in there. You let Nicole take all the light.
If you start there, if you start within your circle, everyone as a unity, things change. So, in other words,
I'm sorry. I'm not muted. Oh, you can hear her talking.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
She was talking. She was talking about her inner church, and she said we need to start changing.
everyone, if you start there, if you bring your kids, if you bring your
Go ahead, say it.
if you bring your kids, if you bring everyone in a unity together, if each person brings a unity in, and we're doing the same thing, that brings about a change.
So you saying in the church? You said
not just the church, just in your
community.
Communities. Everyone has to come together, and we have to do the same thing. And you can't stop.
United.
Once you get one good results from one verdict, you can't stop there. You have to keep going. If your kids, people are following you, kids are following you, elders are following you, people are following you. So once they start following you, you have to continue with that. You can't let the kids are doing a great job, but they are doing what they know, and they know war. They know a fight,
mm-hmm.
and that's all they know. They know to riot. They know to burn down a building. They
mm-hmm.
know to shoot one another. Mm-hmm. They don't know to come together. If the slaves did what they're doing right now, they would have never made, the ones that made it out never would have made it, because they would have killed each other.
Mm-hmm. We have to unify. We have to unify.
You have to unify. Unity is a great thing. Unity and loyalty means something, and we.
So she's saying kids doing what they know as far as fighting and burning down things. The kids that I've seen on TV that's supporting things, they're fighting with their words. They're fighting with their actions. The teens and the youth, they're not the ones going out burning down and fighting and doing all this other crazy stuff. It's the grown people. The kids are standing, and I'll speak from just like the Parkland shooting. These kids that were here, because I'm like 9 miles away from where that Parkland shooting was at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and
wow,
it was the kids that were those high school students and the young people that were up speaking.
Those kids unified.
Yes, and you said white, but okay.
I didn't say white people.
That's one. No, you didn't, but Brian did.
Oh.
But
I saw them kids unified. I was very impressed with those kids because I went to Washington. They went to DC. I was in DC with them. And I was like, wow, y'all really pulled that together. I was very impressed with them young kids. Them kids was sharp.
You want me to tell the difference?
Other young kids too, though, that look like us, that were speaking up too. That were smart. I can't remember which from whoever got killed. I don't remember. But I've seen some Black kids speaking up too, and talking about change and talking about, doing the right thing. I don't remember all what they were saying, but it's with their words. Go ahead, Brian.
No, and the reason that the difference between that is they don't want to hear what we got to say. If it's, you know what? You
think that's what it was? Do you think that's really what it was? That they didn't want to hear? Really?
They don't want to hear what we got to say. They don't care. Think about this.
So you saying the difference between the Parkland shooting?
Wait a minute. What did Como say on national television? And all of a sudden they trying to censor him.
Okay.
What did Como say? If the police are starting to kill white kids and they start to kill people in your neighborhood, then things will change. If it's not affecting the white race or white supremacy, it'll never change. So they don't want to hear what we say. They're listening, but the first thing that they worry about is us tearing shit down. In other words, we're going to tear down what we built. Because it's like, if we can't have it, you can't have it either. You see what I'm saying? Because it's corporations that run this country. And corporations are the one that are scared because they're going to start tearing these businesses down. So that's something that you have to look at is we're always in survival mode. They are never in survival mode. You understand?
That's true.
So no matter what, we can protest. One fight happened in that protest. And that whole protest has been eliminated and has been demonized. And whatever it is, that mark on that because of that one incident badmouthed the whole protest. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we get when we protest. It's what happens. Notice nothing happens during the day. All this shit happens at night. So at night, we never know who's in because now everybody got masks on. See what I'm saying? So the shit has been played on both sides. We just happen to be the ones that's getting the punch in the face because we're trying to tell y'all that we matter. Yo, stop killing us for nothing. They don't care. Has it stopped since George Floyd?
I'm not gonna say they don't care.
How many people have died?
I'm not gonna say.
How many black people have died since then? They don't care.
They don't care. Okay, my friend is over there yelling. They don't care. I was saying I'm not gonna say they don't care.
But I mean, I understand what you're saying, Tracy. I respect what they're doing, Tracy. They don't care. They don't want to hear our voice, and they're gonna keep us separated from each other.
You know, I don't like when people put people in like put one a lot of people in one box. Like they don't care. Some of them do, some of them don't. And just like you said, as far as
the one that get the money don't.
Wait. Just like you saying, we're out there peacefully protesting, but once that one fight happened, that destroyed everything. That's just like the ones that, like, there's so many that do care, but then there are some that don't care. That rotten apple that don't care, or then those few that don't care, and we generalize everybody.
Yeah, I can't say that. You know what I'm saying? I think the system itself doesn't care, of course, because the system is what it is. But I think I think that there are people out there who generally care about what happens to people, to black people. I really do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna make a general statement and say they don't. I think the system itself and who control the system don't care about it because it keeps happening. But there are people out there who generally want to see a change of what happens in America because, as I said earlier, America cannot withstand the way it is right now because it would affect everybody in America if it continues to behave the way it is. Because at some point, whether we have a strategy or not, people are gonna take up arms, man. People are gonna start doing things their way. You know what I'm saying? So this system has to be dismantled, and people have to realize that it affects everybody. So we all of us got to do something differently because if not, we all going down with the ship. Because America cannot withstand the way it is. It cannot do it. Right. Not now, it can't stay the way it is because people are not going to allow it to happen, man. It's not going to continue to be able to do what is functioning the way it is because it cannot sustain itself. You know what I'm saying? When America started being looked at differently, you know what I'm saying? When this whole thing came out with the capital stuff, newspaper all over the world was marking the hell out of America. You know what I'm saying? Newspaper in Africa, everybody was saying America ain't what America's supposed to be about. And America ain't going for that. So when it started affecting them overall, it's going to change. It's going to change. Yeah. Believe me, it's going to change. It can't stay the way it is. It cannot sustain itself. America cannot sustain itself. You know what I'm saying? We already got a bad infrastructure as it is. We got a terrible infrastructure. So it cannot, I mean, just off that itself tells you America in a bad place if it does not change the way it continues to treat its citizens, man. Period. I'm saying now the Asians getting attacked too now. The Asians getting attacked too. Woo. Come on now. That's a different ball game now.
Because
I'm serious.
Because they have a flag.
I don't give a damn what they got.
They have a nation that backs them.
But they still get
attacked. All right, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm hungry as hell. And I feel like I needed to share that with y'all.
You get greedy, man. You get greedy. That's all that is. You greedy. You're greedy.
But let me just say this.
You know good well your mama would not allow you back in the refrigerator right now.
It's going to continue to be
Yeah, what's up, Nicole? What's up, Nicole?
I'll talk to y'all later. I gotta go. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for letting me jump in.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Bye. See y'all later.
All right. I was getting ready to say, let everybody get their last moments out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, this has been a strong and interesting. Actually, it's been a good topic. I mean, I didn't think we was gonna get this animated about it. I hate it when drone get quiet. Oh, I got animated. But since Tracy,
Good,
go ahead,
you can be
go get your last words out, Tracy.
Well, it's been a very interesting topic, and I'll just read one thing that Alex said on the Facebook comment that we can Million Man March, and then what? What's next? We have to have a plan, and I think that we have to figure out what that is. We have to figure out next steps because with any like if you're in the business, if you have a business plan, you have to come up with your plan. You have to come up with your strategy. What are the outcomes? You have to have steps. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. We have to make it plain. We have to make our wants, our needs, our wishes, our desires. Then we have to strategize to get there. How can we get there? We know we want to get from point A to point Z. What are the steps we have to go through to get from point A to point Z? And how can it benefit? What are the benefits to us, to society, to our children, our future? But that's it. I just thank y'all again. Thank you for inviting me. It's been fun.
Hey, appreciate you being on. Wheeler, give us your last strong words, my brother.
Hey, man. No vision, the people shall perish, man. So
Facts.
the simplest
Damn,
that.
you didn't say no more after that.
That's it.
Hell, I don't know what else to say after that.
That's right. That's word right there. That's the word.
Yo, he just dropped the mic and look how he just rolled back in the chair like I ain't got nothing else to say. But yo, I appreciate everybody being on today. I appreciate everybody that's listening and watching us on the Three Headed Monster podcast. That's on YouTube, and also the Three Headed Monster podcast. That's on Facebook. Thanks Tracy. Thanks Willa. Thanks Nicole for being on. We strongly, let's keep these tops going. Man, we gonna keep doing what we doing. Hey, this was interesting. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I mean, man, we're hour and 45 minutes in, man. I feel like we were about to keep going for another 2 or 3 hours. But one thing I do want to say is change first does have to start with us. And once we start learning who we are and respecting who we are, we'll start to fix some of the hurt, start mending some of these bridges that we have within our own culture as a people, and then go from there. We are divided so much that it doesn't make no sense because nobody's on the same page. Nobody is trying to whatever. I mean, think about this. Think about this bullshit. Who was the leaders that we saw in these press conferences when the verdict happened? Who's the bullshit ass leaders that we had up front? People that we don't respect, people we don't look up to, and people is not who we say, yo, I'm following that dude. So we need this next generation, or maybe our generation has to step up and start voicing what we need to say because nobody's listening to them. Maybe they need to start listening to us. So we got their attention because they scared that we're going to riot. They scared that we're going to tear stuff up. We got them where we need to, so they listening. But like you said, no vision, no nothing.
People perish.
Go ahead, Jerome. Finish us off with these kind words. Watch how you end it, y'all. Watch how you end it.
I don't know what that means, babe, but I want to thank everybody also for being on. It's always great to have a good panel. If if you're watching on YouTube, please smash the like button, hit the bell for the notifications, so whenever we're on, you can see our podcast. Um, Man, it's so much. We went over so many topics today. It's hard to stick with one, but with like we said, with war, there's strategy. So war takes on different meanings, but strategy is always a part of war. We have to have a better strategy on what we want to accomplish. I don't think as a group we know what we all want to accomplish, what the end goal is for everybody. I think if we can, at least sit down and talk about the end goal, we can start moving towards something. You were talking about leadership. Leadership happens, like the young lady said, in our homes. If we had better leadership throughout the community, I think it would trickle up. Um, but thanks everybody for being on. I hope we can do this again. It's been a great night. Peace.
Peace. Three-headed monster, we
Peace.
out.
Piece of hair grease.